Well, it's official, y'all. According to the new rankings released by the World Dance Sport Federation, which is the governing body for breakdancing, B-Girl RayGun is now the #1 female breaker in the world. And given her viral performances at the Olympics, you, like us, have got to be wondering how this is even possible.
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Haas.
I'm Cece.
Today we got a hot topic for you. Welcome back to our channel where you can get your daily dose of social, political, cultural, and trending topics. We're so happy that you are once again joining us, and if this is your first time, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. And if you really like what you see, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know each and every time we upload a new content.
Right. So Australian breakdancer Rachel Gunn, known as B-Girl RayGun, failed to score a single point in the Paris Olympics. And if you missed it, she was the worst breakdancer at the Olympic Games this summer. Probably the worst breakdancer in the world.
What do you think when you first saw her performance?
Well, you know, when I first heard about it, I couldn't really find her full performance anywhere online. I mean, luckily I was able to kind of pull it up on Peacock before they pulled it from the network. And I actually ended up watching the entire competition of the B-girls. And I think you got a chance to see the B-boys, but I didn't get a chance to see the B-boys before they pulled it. Right. But as far as the B-girls were concerned, those breakdancing athletes were awesome. I mean, who would you say is your favorite?
Well, they were all awesome to me, but I especially like India, Sarjo, known as B-Girl India. Her style is on point, and I just love how she's always pointing at people while she's dancing. I mean, she's awesome. She's from the Netherlands. She was the first European breaker to qualify for the Paris Olympics, in 2024, and she also won the Red Bull Championship and signed her first sponsorship contract with Nike in 2022 at the age of 16.
16, wow. And of course, there's Sia Dembele, sorry, known as B-Girl Cece, who is from France, and she's 17 years old and was one of the ones who was also very, very awesome. But my favorite by far was Leo Qingyi from China, and she was known as B-Girl 671. And to me, she had just the right amount of talent and skill and sass that it just, I don't know, I just loved her. And to kind of give you guys an idea of the level of competition that was going on at the breakdancing at the Olympics this summer, here is Cece and 671 in a battle together. So after watching them, I could not even fathom how RayGun was even to be considered a contender. I mean, when I finally saw her performance, I honestly thought that RayGun was just making fun of the art form or was some sort of plant.
The Olympics is supposed to be an honorable organization, but you still thought this breakdancing competition was rigged?
There was no other way to explain how RayGun had even gotten into the Olympics from the get-go, because the other competitors were just so much more advanced than she appeared to be.
I mean, her footwork was whack. She didn't do any hard tricks. She didn't make you stand up and cheer. You're supposed to feel that inner thing and jump up when somebody does something like, ooh, or something. She didn't do none of that. And even when we look back at her past competitions outside of the Olympics, most importantly, the contest she supposedly won that put her in position to be considered the best in the world. Honestly, her moves were uninspiring and basic. Whoever scored her at the best as the best in the world is a joke and shouldn't be allowed to continue judging this sport at all. They are apparently out of touch with this sport.
I mean, certainly, I certainly agree with that. I mean, but the thing that I find fascinating, because I'm kind of a true crime buff, so the thing that I find fascinating is the level of conspiracies that have popped up surrounding, her presence even in the Olympics. Now, when I say conspiracy, I'm not saying that these things are true. I'm just simply talking about them from the standpoint of what people are thinking of how she got there. Now, none of these things have been proven to be true that I'm going to talk about. So I just want to give that disclaimer. They've all been debunked. But I just think it's a fascinating thing
I'm
to talk
at the
about.
edge of my seat. Explain it to me.
Well, for one thing, there was a theory, that she was her own judge and jury for the Olympic qualifiers. Mm-hmm. And so
her own judge for the Olympic qualifiers?
Well, so kind of imagine this. So the Olympics decides they want to include breakdancing into the Olympics, right, as a sport. So naturally they turn to the World Dance Sports Federation, right, to find breakers for the Olympics. And so the World Dance Sports Federation went to what was called Dance Sport Australia. And supposedly Dance Sport Australia consulted with Rachel Gunn, who recommended Aus breaking, which supposedly was run and founded by her and her husband.
Ooh,
now, like
this
I
is
said,
getting juicy.
but like I said before, as I stated, these are just conspiracy theories, and I'm just fascinated that this particular breakdancer.
So you're saying that was a rumor?
It was a rumor, and it was. It
sounds like a damn credible one.
They found that it was not true. I have to say that.
Okay.
It was not true. It was totally debunked.
Well,
and I'm only talking.
We'll let that be the reason.
No, I'm only talking about it because I just think it's the fact that this was supposed to be like a not fun, but the Olympics are hard work.
A competitive event.
And then the fact that she shows up.
I know I tried to break dance as a kid. I called myself a dancer, and I thought I was pretty damn good. But I wasn't. I had a little footwork, but I was nowhere qualified to be called a b-boy. Now, I wanted to call myself a b-boy because I thought I could dance, some hip-hop dance. But as far as breakdancing, spinning on my back, doing, all of those technical things that breakdancers do, I wasn't doing none of that.
Yeah. And like I said, the only reason why I'm talking about this is because she's a fascinating person at this point in time because she did cause all of these conspiracies to come on. Sure. And there was another conspiracy theory where people were saying that she was a plant by the Olympic Committee themselves because there was these disagreements about having breaking as a sport, and the Olympic people who were the highbrow people felt that it shouldn't be qualified, so they kind of chose her knowing that she was going to go in there and be a disruptor of sorts.
Yeah.
Now, once again, this is another theory that has not been proven to be true, but it's just, I'm just discussing it from the standpoint of it being fascinating, right? And then there was another one where I think where they said that, where they were saying that she really wasn't even a break dancer, that she was just studying this.
She's supposed to be a PhD in break dancing.
I think it was hip hop culture.
Okay.
I think the PhD was in hip hop culture, right? But I think that, and some people said it was just a sociological experiment on her part where she was just trying to show that the hip hop culture is not specific to the culture, like in meaning culture in the sense of I have to
being
bring
part
in
of the dance sporting federation.
Well, not that, but it's not that the sport of breaking was not specific to the culture that created breaking. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
So that was, and like I said, once again, these are all crazy conspiracy theories.
How could she say that?
Well,
what would she be able to say about that?
Well, I don't know what her dissertation was on. I don't know what she was writing about. And once again, I don't know because this is a theory that people are saying that it was supposed to be a sociological experiment on her behalf to debunk the ideology that hip hop culture, and within that context of hip hop culture, breakdancing being a part of hip hop culture, that it's not specific to. And like I said, at this point, I have to say race, because what else would she be referring to when she's talking about culture? Because when you think about where breakdancing originated, then that would have been it. But once again, I am saying this is a conspiracy theory. This is not what I'm saying. This is what people out here believe happened. Do I believe that's what happened? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think that's what happened. I mean, but...
Do you think that she was, based on what you just said right there, it sounds like she was somewhat trying to mock the dance style.
Well, I mean,
you think that was something she was trying to do?
If people, I think when people who, once again, talk about this being a theory, of why she did what she did. I think they're coming from the standpoint that she is an academic, so she's a scientist of sort, a social scientist of sorts. And this was not necessarily to mock and make fun and to be like, you know, I hate hip hop culture, I hate black people, I hate the people that created it or whatever. But it was more along the lines of her trying to debunk that ideology that culture is based on race, or culture is based on these different caveats. And if you know, and to show that she could have the technicalities, because that's something they talked about, that she could have the technicalities to qualify, even though she might not have been like a 671 or an India or a Sia.
Well, it's undeniable that her rise to number 1 ranking definitely creates more questions. Questions like, what in the world was she even thinking about perpetrating like a B-girl? That's like saying, because you have extensive book knowledge about jumping out of planes, it doesn't mean that you should be a part of a freestyle skydiving team without going through proper training, testing, and certification to skydive. Breakdancing is just as technical.
I mean, I totally agree that, you know, just because you read something, you know, doesn't mean you're going to be able to perform it. Just like, you know, you might read a recipe, but that doesn't mean that cake is going to turn out as good as the one your mom cooked, right?
Right.
So, but with that said, you know, I remember after the whole Olympic debacle, I was looking online trying to find footage of RayGun in prior events prior to the Olympic competition. And I couldn't find anything. So naturally, after the World Dance Sport Federation ranked her number 1, you know, came out with the rankings earlier this week, I kind of went on the hunt again. And so I don't know if I was using the wrong search terms, or if the Olympics had scrubbed her image off the internet, or what had happened.
Or maybe subconsciously you wanted it to be a conspiracy.
I mean, maybe psychologically I wanted it to be an experience, you know, a conspiracy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did finally was able to find some footage from the World Dance Sport Federation in Oceania breaking championships from 2023. And like I always believed, you know, RayGun was never an Olympic caliber breaker. I mean, and I'm really struggling with myself to not make it about race. But when you see an art form that was started by black and brown people, and there's this white woman who obviously is not very limber.
She's middle-aged.
She's practically middle-aged at this point. And has this unfounded overconfidence, you know, it makes me laugh for you know, I mean, it makes me laugh, it burns me up, and it's really sad that the Olympics let this happen, especially when you look at the other young women who were so awesome. And
I mean, she must be surrounded by a bunch of sycophants. I mean, her and her crew are all delusional.
I don't know. But it's kind of like that old adage, you know, where some white people will study another person's culture and they purport themselves, you know, as the exports of that culture more than the people of the culture.
So you don't believe that people can study a culture and become experts in it?
I mean, sure they can, but I think that the problem becomes is when you act like when they act as if they know more about the people who originate the culture. Okay. So I'm not going to go to, say, Mexico and live among the Mexican people, population, and then come back and I can tell you a lot about it, and I can talk about it, and I can be in love with it and enthusiastic about it, but I'm not going to sit here and act like I know more about this culture because I studied it than the Mexican person sitting next to me. No.
Okay.
That's kind of what this feels like where she felt like she had studied the culture. And even we took race out of it, even we just removed race from it, it feels like she felt like she studied the culture.
I mean, are you saying that? Are you saying that that was her intention?
I mean, I think that it wasn't necessarily her. I don't really think her intention was necessarily racialized, but I think there's a complexity there because she happens to be white, and we know that this, not unfortunately, but this art form originated from black and brown people. So because she happens to be white, and she was told that she was a good dancer, and because she was told that, She believed it. And I just feel like whoever told her that really needs to be locked away from society.
Well, here's how she did it, right? Because I know the big question is, how is this woman who made a fool of herself and her country at the Olympics become the #1 breaker in the world?
In the world.
Well, this is how she did it.
Okay.
In October 2023, at an event of the World Dance Sport Federation in Oceania Championship, she was awarded 1,000 ranking points.
Okay.
And her win in that event is how she earned her spot in the Olympics.
Okay, so is it like a case where she was the only competitor, so by default she won? Or was it because she actually competed against other people and was ranked higher? But before you say anything, hold on. So I have one more question to add to that. So the other question would be, if she did compete against other people, was she competing against people like the young ladies that we just mentioned? You know, like the young ladies who was at the thing.
It doesn't seem like it. I mean, it looks like the only competitors that were in that event were from Australia. Like, this event was an Australian event, and whoever was there at that event are the only ones who's ranked in the World Dance Sport Federation ranking this year. And that's ridiculous to me.
I mean, so my question is, if the World Dance Sport Organization, they couldn't have missed her performance in the Olympics. There's no way they could have missed it. They couldn't have missed it. There's no way they could have missed it, right? So how did they why would they still bestow her as the #1 female dancer in the world of breaking? I don't understand why they would. I'm not saying that she necessarily deserved to be stripped of her titling, but maybe they should have. I don't know. And then, with that said, my understanding is that none of the top 3 Olympian medalists were...
They're not even ranked in the top 10.
Okay, not even the top 10.
Not even the top 10.
Okay, so just to remind everyone, the gold medal went to Ami Iwasa.
B-Girl Ami.
B-Girl Ami from Japan. And the silver medal went to Lithuanian's Dominika Benovic, known as B-Girl Nika. And then, of course, Leo Chin-Yi, known as B-Girl, my girl, 671, was the bronze.
Yeah.
And so,
it is perplexing. But I get it. It's hard to understand. I'm even perplexed on this. But I'm going to, I did some research and I'm going to attempt to explain it, right?
Okay.
So, the rankings, like I said, they're based on points from each breaker's top 4 performances from particular World Dance Sport Federation breaking events.
Okay.
Which gave them rankings. They had to be specific ranking events under that organization. It would have been the last 12 months.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The points expire after 52 weeks.
Okay.
And the breaking competitions changed. They changed their schedule. And the awarding of points to allow athletes to focus on preparation leading up to the Paris Games. So due to that, 3 major events did not contribute to the ranking points. Okay. Which were the Olympic qualifiers in Shanghai and Budapest, and the Olympic Games itself. So while RayGun earned 0 points from the Olympics due to her performance, the medalists didn't earn any points either, despite finishing in the top 3. Not only did those 3 major events not contribute to the points, but they were some of the only events held over the past year.
Okay, so hold on. So to reiterate, you are saying that the breaking competitions in Shanghai and Budapest, as well as the Olympics itself, did not count towards the rankings for this year.
Correct. I mean, this is very typical for many sports, and it's called strategic scheduling that allows athletes to focus on the last part of their Olympic qualifications without the added pressure of having to compete in ranking events. Ranking events were intentionally not held between December 31st 2023 and the Olympic Games in Paris of 2024.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so I see you pointed out that the points expire in 52 weeks. So does that mean that other breakers, so that basically means that the other breakers simply did not have enough points by the time the world dance sport made its rankings?
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
gotcha. Okay.
They're saying the points from most other events have expired, and since there are no points coming from the Olympics, most B-girls have points from just one event, and that is what the World Dance Sport Federation used to decide rankings. And apparently, that event is the one event that RayGun won in October. And if any other B-girls weren't a part of that event, that was the only event that they used for their world
To
qualify the best breakdancer of the year.
Oh,
and I'm totally perplexed by that.
So with that said, so RayGun, she just basically slips right on through
like grease.
And
they poured grease on her and just slid her under the door. I mean, I mean,
somebody had to know that this was going to become an embarrassment. I mean, I honestly would have expected her to know this since she was an academic on the subject, and she had to know, because if she studied hip hop culture and she studied breakdancing, she had to know that she was nowhere near the quality.
Yeah.
But let me just say this. I think
she had to know she wasn't to the caliber of all of those expert dancers. She might have been academically, understanding the whole culture of it and everything. But like I compared it to skydiving, or like I even could compare it to a karate black belt.
Yeah.
You got to qualify to get to the next level, and the breakdancing community has got to have some type of qualifying process to get you to the next level. If you're not able to do technical things, if you're, I saw that she was keeping the beat pretty good, but her footwork was trash. I think that, when I'm looking at this, because I'm, like I said, I always like to be kind of balanced in how I'm thinking about something. I have very complex feelings. Like, on one hand, I feel, like I said, about the racial aspect, and I also feel like, that it was something about privilege and entitlement that kind of led her to this, to just feel like she could just go ahead and just do this, right? But part of me also feels like that where she really shot herself in the foot wasn't the fact that she went ahead and participated, because rightfully so, if none of these conspiracy theories are true, which we say they're not, as far as I know they're not, then she got to the Olympics honestly because she was the best they had. I saw Holly Molly outdance her. Holly Molly, and I wasn't all that impressed with Holly Molly compared to the other dancers that I've seen, such as India in 671. Holly Molly should have won Australia.
And that's true. But with that said, if RayGun followed the process and she got there legitimately, then because sometimes that does happen. That's the best they got. So they say, "Oh, honey, you're the best we got. We gonna send you in, right? Then do the battle."
Let me add this one other thing. When during the competition, and I believe this was the same competition, the Oceania competition, and RayGun was dancing against, I think her name was Anu, which she's the sister of Ami, the gold medal medalist.
Absolutely, yeah.
And after Anu had did all of that footwork and was freaking amazing, they raised RayGun's hand, and if you could just see the face of the lady who was, I guess, the referee holding up RayGun's hand, she raised this lady's hand and was looking at her like, Anu, like, I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened.
Right.
Usually you're looking at the winner like, yeah, you did it. But she was looking at her like, I'm sorry. I don't know how this happened.
Right. And see, that's the thing that makes the whole thing kind of weird, and that's why I don't want to racialize it, but you're kind of like, because that was a questionable moment. That had nothing to do with the rankings, that had nothing to do with the points, it had nothing to do with, the switching around of the schedules. It had simply to do with the fact that how did this woman out breakdance this other
amazing
woman?
breakdancer.
It was crazy.
How did she do that?
It was crazy. But here's the thing. I think fundamentally where she messed up was when she did those quirky moves. Like if she had, because if she had continued to try to perform instead of doing like the kangaroo hop and those other weird kind of what she called artistic movements, if she had not done that, I think that people would have just thought like, poor girl, she's just not that great. But I think the fact that she did it, it made people feel like she was trolling the other B-girls. You know what I mean?
She said she was bringing something that Charlie never seen before.
Yeah,
she's been practicing
you're
something.
Right. We never saw a kangaroo
She said
hop.
she's been practicing
for
something.
breakdancing
I got
before.
something new for y'all.
But I mean,
and not only am I gonna do a standing kangaroo, but I'm gonna do a kangaroo on my side.
I'm gonna do a kangaroo hop.
I'm gonna lay on my side and do a kangaroo.
But at the end of the day, I do believe that what really went awry was that this was just a fundamentally flawed system.
Yeah.
And it was also a new sport to the Olympics. So, but hey guys, I would love for y'all to tell us your thoughts in the comments about what you think about what went awry. And as usual, I appreciate you guys for sticking around with us to this point.
And we hope you have enjoyed our analysis of the best breakdancer in the world.
Yeah.
In air quotes. I mean, freaking hilarious. I hope she is laughing with us so we don't have to laugh at her.
Right.
But I will digress. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you soon.
Peace.